Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about perceiving risk. Every day, we make decisions that involve risk: crossing the road, riding a vehicle, eating a certain foods, or using products at home. However, what is interesting is that the risks we fear the most are not always the most dangerous. This introduction connects the lessons to real life and prepares learners to understand that risk is part of everyday experience. Perceiving risk. Knowing when something might hurt you. Some risk can be measured through scientific studies, but many people base their fear or emotions rather than facts. For example, many people believe that flying in airplanes is very dangerous because crashes can cause deaths. However, studies shows that flying is actually safer than driving a car or smoking cigarettes. This shows that perceived risk is not always rational. People fear dramatic events even if they rarely happen. This happens because unfamiliar activities feel more dangerous than familiar ones. So, research by Paul Slovic explains that people judge risk based on fear and familiarity. The less familiar something is, the more dangerous it seems. That is why smoking is often seen as low risk, even though it is one of the most leading causes of deaths. This means that emotions and habits strongly influence how people see danger, not scientific data. Because we cannot avoid all risk, how do we manage them? Risk management is how people and governments decide what to do about dangers. There are two main approaches. First, presumptions of innocence, letting products continue until proven harmful. This helps industries earn money quickly, but the public may already be exposed before danger is proven. Next, precautionary principles. Test carefully and proving safety before allowing a product. This protects public health, but it may slow down production and profits. Playing dangerously, using or around things that might look safe and fun. Playing dangerously is a clear example for this is issues can be seen in playground and schools. Next, tracking infectious disease means carefully watching where and how sicknesses caused by germs from spreading. Artificial turf fields are often made from recycled tires. These contain toxic substances such as PFAS, lead, and other carcinogens. Children are the most exposed, yet there are no long-term studies proving these fields are safe for them. Even though industries claim artificial turf is safe, science has not confirmed this. In this case, the precautionary principle should be applied to protect them. Toxins are not the only risk we face. Diseases also threaten humans' health. Infectious diseases are caused by pathogens like bacteria and viruses. Some diseases are old, such as tuberculosis and malaria, while others are emergent diseases. Modern infectious diseases, AIDS, HIV, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or human immunodeficiency viruses. In 2006, they found the virus in African chimpanzee, and it is only spread through unprotected sex, sharing needles, or mother to child. Next, Ebola fever, named after the river in Africa near where scientists first discovered the virus in humans. The virus causes vomiting, fever, and usually death after 2 weeks. And it spreads only through direct contact with infected blood or fluids. Outbreaks are mostly in Africa. Mad cow disease first appeared in 1980s as a brain disease in cows. It caused by a protein that mutates into a pathogen. It rarely affects humans, mainly through eating infected beef. Next, West Nile virus. It is carried by mosquitoes and transmitted through mosquito bites. It affects birds, humans, and more than 200 other species. Some regions apply pesticides. It spreads by mosquitoes, but most people have mild or no symptoms. Next, zoonotic influenza. Zoonotic simply means that the disease moves from an animal species to humans. Many humans died from viruses like H1N1. Next, COVID-19. That quickly spreads to humans and causes severe illness and commonly symptoms as cold, headache, and cough. Highly contagious virus severity depends on health and precautions. These diseases often spread from animals to humans and can become global threats, especially when people have no immunity. Climate change. It helps diseases spread by allowing mosquitoes and germs to live in new places. So, in climate change, have you ever wondered why some places are affected even though the diseases is not originally from there? It is because of climate change. Through the wind, the virus is carried and transferred to other places where it can survive and thrive. For example, in the case of monkeypox in Mindanao, the person who got infected did not travel. But why was he affected? And it mainly comes from Africa. It's because the climate change, and that's how it spread easily. And human behavior makes spread of these diseases even worse. Evolving resistance happens when germs change over time so that the medicine used to kill them don't work anymore. Antibiotics help fight bacterial infections, but misuse leads to drug resistance. When antibiotics are taken unnecessarily or incorrectly, some bacteria will survive and become stronger. These resistant bacteria are harder to treat in the future. Important reminder of this, antibiotics do not work on viral illnesses, and misuse puts everyone at risk. Many household cleaners are toxic and labeled as cautions, warnings, and dangerous or poisons. However, safer alternatives already exist at home. Examples include if this is baking soda, lemons, white vinegar, borax, or cornstarch. To conclude, risk is unavoidable, but misunderstanding risk can be dangerous. Perceiving risk based on emotions rather than facts can lead to poor decisions. By understanding risk perceptions and applying responsible risk management, especially the precautionary principle, we can protect our health, our families, and our communities. So, for our activities, answer this in a one whole sheet of paper. For part 1, multiple choice, and for part 2 is essay. Number 1. Why do pathogens sometimes become resistant to antibiotics? A. Antibiotics permanently weaken pathogens. B. Some pathogens surrounded due to genetic mutations and reproduce. C. Antibiotics are only effective against viruses. D. Pathogens cannot survive outside the human bodies. Number 2. Why do some people underestimate the risk of climate change? A. Because it happens very slowly and seems far away. B. Because it has no effect on humans. C. Because it is not only effects on animals. D. Because it is only a natural phenomenon. 3. How can climate change help viruses spread to new areas? A. By creating new types of viruses. B. By carrying viruses through wind and environmental change to place where they can survive. C. By making people more immune to viruses. D. By eliminating all diseases in affected areas. 4. What does the precautionary principle in risk management emphasize? A. using products as soon as they are available. B. Testing products extensively before exposing people to potential hazard. C. Waiting for consumers to report problems before taking actions. D. Mesmerizing corporate profits before public health concerns. 5. How can people get infected with mad cow diseases? A. Eating infected beef. B. Touching infected people. C. By mosquito bite. D. By drinking water. So for part 2, question is why it is important to understand risk. How can we manage risk, help protect our health and safety? So, okay, pass your paper forward. So for your assignment, you make a slogan that promotes awareness about risks, such as smoking, infectious disease, and safe waste disposal or toxic products. And I encourage everyone to choose safer alternatives, and the submission of this will be next meeting. And thank you for your cooperation.